Hi, my name is Farida, and I talk about living a life of ease through remote work and travel. If any of those things sound like a vibe to you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today's guest is someone who's helping women everywhere step boldly into wealth, freedom, and the soft life they deserve. Please welcome Jerusha, the visionary behind Balance Muse, a transformative platform where wisdom, personal finance, and emerging technology come together to empower women to live on their own terms. Get ready to be inspired, expanded, and equipped because Jerusha is here to help us match our rich inner lives with the outer abundance we're worthy of. Jerusha, welcome so much to the channel. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Balance Muse.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me onto your channel. I've watched your videos. I think you're such an inspiration, and I'm really,
What?
really glad to be here. Um,
Thank you.
so the way I got started with Balance Muse is um, kind of on a winding road.
Mm,
I have been working, in the corporate field for a while, either as customer service, executive assistant. I've also worked as a caregiver and a nanny. I've
mm,
worked at daycares. I've worked a lot of caregiving service field type work. And back in 2019, I was working at a daycare and I had a health issue come up and it was related to
mm,
stress. And the choice
mhm.
remained, do I go ahead and get the surgery or do I quit my job and try to figure out a way to heal myself, which is what I did. And so I
Wow.
wasn't yeah, it's like because the work was making me more sick. So
Mhm.
I was like, okay, let's figure out a way. And so I dibbled and dabbled in like health related content for a channel in a website. But I didn't keep consistently with it, even though my health greatly improved. And I was
Mm.
able to not have the surgery, like everything went great.
Wow,
But I was without
wonderful.
a job. So it's like,
Mhm.
it was a little rough. I ended up finding some work as a caregiver for a pretty well-to-do family, and
Mhm.
that's where I started to learn about how that type of family works, um, and also as I had gone through a, what do you call it, a recruitment, where they have house domestic services. So they have maids and butlers and house managers and
Wow.
nannies and that kind of thing. You have
Mhm.
a resume and they put you into the the system, and then families can look over your resume and say, oh, well, we'd like to meet with her. So
Mm.
that's how I ended up with them. And so after I decided to come back to where I'm living now. So I decided to come back home and leave Atlanta because that's where I was.
Mhm.
Um, I knew that I needed to spend more time with my mother because I'm going into those elder care years. And so,
Absolutely,
yeah.
yes.
And so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so what do I do now? The child that I was with before, they're kind of growing up, and I'm coming back home, and I was like, I still need to make money. But I was starting to see that the jobs that I had done all throughout my life, they kind of add up to being what one would call a family assistant or a home or house manager. And
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, you know what? I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this. How can I do this as a form of income? So I
Right.
discussed with my mother,
Mm.
can I do this for you at a very, very low rate? And she was like, yeah, because she doesn't want to handle it. And I love
Mhm.
handling it. So that means groceries and caring, cooking, cleaning, um, ordering services to fix the roof or paint the house or get the lawn
Yes.
done. All that I handle, which is a real
Mm.
profession, which a lot of people, I didn't know about it before, but now I'm like, oh, this does have an actual name to it. So that's currently what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And that's why I am low key fangirling you right now because you find the ways to really appreciate what, stay-at-home moms do, and you show us how it could be monetized and how we can, extract value from our labor and be compensated for our labor.
Yes.
So I was like, this woman is revolutionary. I've got to talk to her. Definitely. So, yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about that last video about, how stay-at-home moms can really take, relook at their, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and be compensated for that labor?
Certainly. So, I myself do not happen to have any children, but because I've worked in so many fields with children as either an educator or a caregiver, I completely empathize and I understand like stay at home moms have a lot on their plate. So, I don't want to say, hey, this is another thing you have to do. It's just more using things like the technology that they're telling you they're going into, as in AI,
Mhm.
as in Chat GPT, as in Gemini on Google. Use that, use the free version to help you structure your jobs in a way that, in case you wanted to sign on with one of these domestic care services, they
Mhm.
say, "Oh, she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing. We can present her to families because she has a structured way of looking at the work that she already does." Do you kind
Wow.
of see what I mean? So it's just like,
Absolutely.
because I have um, a lot of professional experience working, making resumes, putting that out, having interviews. I was working the jobs that a house manager does. But if I were only a stay at home mom and I had not had experience doing it with the professional work or doing with corporations, then I may not know how to translate it, even though the work is
Mm.
still valuable. You-
Exactly.
So,
It's so valuable, but
yeah,
so undercompensated. And I just
yes.
love how you have those tips for us to say, no, this is what you do. These are all the different jobs you do just by being a stay-at-home mother or a caretaker for an elderly parent. And I mean, it just blew my mind. I went back and watched that video twice. It was excellent. Excellent. In another video, you talked about Adriana Smith and
Mhm.
how women's labor is being used but not valued. So I wanted you to touch on a little bit more about Adriana Smith and, why did you speak on her and what lessons we can learn?
Well, when I heard about this story, maybe because it was also that I had just left Atlanta and that's where I was living, that's where she was. And
Mm,
I also happen to be a Black woman, or people will see me as a Black woman.
mhm, mhm.
So it really hit home. I had been watching the series of
The hand,
Handmaid's Tale
the
on Hulu,
handmaid's tale,
and
brilliant.
so
Mhm,
I didn't it didn't click with me until the news story came up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is absolutely parallel in the comparison."
mhm,
And it's always been the case, but it didn't click, as in like Black women, for lack of better terms, sometimes they are seen as um the workhorse, the one
mhm.
who's always giving, 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 always the constant caregiver. And maybe because I had been a caregiver, I was like,
Yes.
"Well, I love these jobs, I love these children, I love these babies, but
Mhm,
I do want to be valued, and I don't want it that they're just using me in my labor and my body, and then they'll use me up and not
mhm,
care."
and
So,
replace you in a heartbeat as well.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So it's just, you
Mhm,
know, my health was suffering to the point where my body even had to tell me, "You need to step back because you
mm,
care too much." In so
mhm,
many terms, and you're not receiving. You're giving and you're not receiving. So, right now, I'm very glad that I'm not employed in the regular sense, because
Mm,
it's given me, especially being here in my, my family home, it gives me a place and a space to, one, rest, which was
yes.
very highly needed. Two, a place to regroup and build again, and build in a better way that's more serving to me and to my family members. So I, it's like I definitely want to encourage uh, the stay at home mom and the ladies out there to, hey, use AI, use Google Gemini's Career Dreamer, I think what it's called, to list your jobs and what you do and see what it can come up with, because it's come up with some really interesting answers. But also, I encourage you to think of yourself as part of the family business. Now, this is something I've been thinking
Mm,
about as in a while, as in, uh, I think there will be a return to, how they had multi-generational families, and
yes.
they were all working as welders, or they were all working as
Mm-hmm.
glass blowers. I think
Absolutely.
that is going to be something that's going to happen in the future, as
Mm,
Gen Z may not be finding jobs as quick as they used to, so they have to stay
true.
home, or
Yes.
adult children are moving back in with their parents to give them care, like as a caregiver like I am. I
Mm-hmm.
see that multi-generational thing coming back,
Yes, yes.
into play.
Helping each other and
Yes,
the
yes.
family business. That's
Yes,
exciting.
and, like, taking
Mm-hmm.
your skills, your talents, your intelligence, and, like, getting
Mm-hmm.
together, having a
Mm-hmm.
family meeting and seeing what you can use to build for the future. So, like,
Right.
even having the little ones, like, how the little ones, they would take eggs from the chickens, and, what, like,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
everybody had a job.
Everyone had a job.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling, this is my hope, my dream, that that's going to start coming into play, where they get
Mm,
together as a family and they discuss, okay, I have skills in marketing. This is what I worked as a marketer, a market analyst for a while. I'm also very good in finance. um, Grandma, maybe she could help take care of the little ones while I'm doing
yes.
that at home.
Yes.
My husband, he works in sales or what have you, and, like, gathering together, and even almost like, not homeschool, but maybe bringing more of that back, to where even the children are learning from the parents how they can contribute to the family business. Do you
Yes.
kind of see where I'm saying? Like, I don't want
As
to skip over it, but it was just like, this has
no,
been going for a minute.
as a homeschool baby and just being in that home with, my mother, she was a nurse, my
Yes,
dad, he would stay at home more and educate us. And we would all go, to the ranch, get manure, start a family
yes.
garden, add additions to our house, build a gazebo in the front lawn. Like, this is how I grew up. So I
Oh,
can
wow.
definitely see how this would come back, the family business, homeschooling, a little side hustle that everybody's involved in,
Hmm.
family meetings. I mean, that's a great thing. That would be a really great thing. And that's how the majority of the world does it, I feel. I think it's just us
Really?
that
You think
I
so?
I feel
Maybe
like
maybe
I
the
feel
US is just behind on that. It's just because
I
I know
think
I didn't.
so.
You were so blessed to come up with it, because I wasn't. Like,
Mm,
we were only taught to get a career and not think in terms of business. So it's like I'm having to learn it by myself to a degree.
mhm.
So it's just like,
Mhm.
it's so good that you had that, as an example
Yeah.
coming up.
Now, we didn't talk too much about money per se. I don't that was still a taboo, but we did do a lot of things together that you could really think of it as a family business. We had a community garden where
Oh,
neighbors would
wow.
come over and pick, collard greens and cucumbers and tomatoes. And, we did things with the community
Mm.
and as a family to really strengthen the people around us in Houston. So I'm very appreciative for that upbringing. We even had a homeschooling co-op, so
Oh,
other
wow.
people would come and, get educated, at my house. So we had that socialization as well. So
Wow.
you're
Wow.
speaking my language for sure. For sure. You talk about how silence becomes a survival strategy for many Black women, and that resonated with me because for so long I would, stay quiet in my friendships, stay quiet in my relationships, even though did not feel that reciprocity a lot of times. And
Mm.
now I'm just learning to find my voice.
Yes.
So tell me more about the hidden costs of remaining silent.
Mm. This is it's it's interesting for me to say this because in school when I was younger, and my mother still
Mhm.
says this, she still believes this. She's like, Teresa, you talk too much. you you always had a problem with blah 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 blah, And I guess as I became older, or I grew into adulthood, um, I necessarily, I would I found that if I said things, sometimes people didn't always understand them, or maybe my ideas were a little bit unconventional
Mm,
at the time. Like, how we're talking about this now, how I said, "Oh, I see this coming for the future," but not that's not what people are trying to talk about now. They're
no,
trying to I'm trying to get a job, So it's
exactly.
just like I'm like, but can we do this too?" But I'm seeing now that sometimes, my silence is needed just for me to regroup,
Mm, mhm.
but at some point a lion's got to roar. I don't know. Like, you just come to the point where uh you need to something has to be said. And
Mm,
you can see people are suffering, or maybe there is a little bit better way that you can do it. And if you don't say anything, you see more harm coming. So it's
yes,
just like I almost want to say, definitely take your time to have your space to recruit, regroup and get your rest, take your ease. I had to, because I was pushing, pushing,
mhm.
pushing and not getting my rest. But once you get your rest,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Once you, hey man, hey, it's time to
Yeah, put on your big girl
say it again.
panties and do what you need to
Yes,
do.
yes, because there's so much work to be done. And
Mm,
I just see so many of the younger kids today. And when I mean younger, I mean like TikTok age,
mhm,
young 20s, teens and
mhm,
20s. Um, they are looking for help. They're like, why didn't the aunties tell us? And
mm.
so since I am going into my auntie era, I'd like to call my rich auntie era. I
Absolutely.
want to be there to say, "Hey, with grace, there might be a better way," and to not berate them and say, you know, "You didn't start this fire. There's a lot of problems going on. They didn't start it, but we can work it out." And I know that they're
Absolutely.
doing the best that they can with
Mhm.
what's going on.
I
What's going on in the world.
I mean, I was an educator for a very long time, almost 20 years,
Wow.
and um, I during COVID, those same babies, those same Gen Zers, they were home for a couple of
Yeah.
years, and they missed out on a lot. Some of them
Yes.
missed out on their graduations, and then they're coming into the workforce, and they have the degrees, but they're not necessarily seeing the job opportunity.
Yeah.
They are going through a lot. They are going, and whereas I came of age in the 90s, there were jobs everywhere.
Yes.
You'd trip over a
Same.
job walking down the street.
Yep. Mhm. Yep.
They are going through it. I mean, they mumble, they're looking down, they have that blank stare when you drive up to the
Oh
coffee
my
shop.
goodness.
They're going through it. They
Yeah.
are going. So anytime I can just pull them to the side and say, "Hey, you know, you've got this social media skill, you've got this presence about you, you can speak clearly, maybe you can't use that degree right now, but you can do this, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that auntie influence is really, really important. And as someone who's been in education and loves kids, because they teach you so much about yourself,
They do.
they really do. It's sad to see what the Gen Z is going through right now. It really is. They're having a tough time of it for
They
sure.
are. But there's hope. There's hope. I want to just leave that there is hope. I see hope in different ways in it, and especially in technology. It's just restructuring the way you think about work and income and all that stuff. There's a I'm putting it together. Oh, I can't hear you. Your sound is
Oh,
off.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now. You're good.
I was just saying, take my money because I'm ready. I'm ready. So, in one of your videos, you said that rest is a radical act and it is not laziness.
Yes.
And that is like the crux of my channel. It's all about rest, it's all about ease, finding an easy way to do something, you know, and, trying to calm that nervous system
Mhm.
and get your
Mhm.
health together. So tell me more about what rest means to you in light of, your illness and nursing yourself back to health and how you live your life now from day to day.
I am a recovering perfectionist,
Mm,
and overachiever. So back when I was in school, it was all about AP classes, honors classes, making straight A's, making good grades, who's going to be top 10 percentage of your school, that kind of thing.
Were we related? Are we related?
We
Because
are, of course, we're related.
my goodness, our
Of
stories are
course.
so parallel.
It was always about working twice as hard, at least for half the credit.
Half the credit.
There
Yep.
you go. So, uh, it's never been it's been an adjustment, I'd say, for me to learn to not do things and to take a
Mm,
nap without an alarm clock. That's the
mm.
best way I can even say it. Like, giving myself, I've done all my work. I did my cooking, my cleaning, my trades for my stock trades are set up for the day. The money's
Yes,
money,
yes.
like everything's boom, boom, boom.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, well, now what I do? What do I do now? Can I do this? And I had to tell myself, well, Jerusha, you've done the things you need to do in order to have your income flow in. You can stop. You can do
Yes,
nothing.
yes.
You can go for a walk. You can take a nap. You can,
But why do you feel so guilty when you
right,
do it?
exactly. It's a work in progress for me to
Mhm.
learn that it's okay to just be still and not do
Mm.
anything because I've worked for years. This is, since I knew what honor roll was, which was about the
Mhm.
age of 8, to another 40 years, because I'm going
Mhm.
to be 48 in August, that, hey, you can stop, you can slow down, you don't have to be doing something.
Wait a minute, 48 where, girl?
Oh, come on now.
Skin
Come on.
glowing.
Melanin is a blessing, okay? It
Melanin.
is a blessing. It is a blessing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You look great.
Well, thank you very
You
much.
look gorgeous.
Thank you. But,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I it's I'm I'm taking the time to learn that it's okay to stop, it's okay to rest, and that is a work in
Mhm.
progress, because it's more of a mental thing of me thinking I need to do something or almost giving myself another problem to solve when there is no
Mm.
problem.
Mhm.
Um, it'll take me some time to do that, and I'm okay with taking that time. I'm
Yes.
okay with just like, okay, well, I'll just take a couple of years, and I won't ever do this again. Like
Right.
I've come to the realization, and I think to my betterment that I don't want another job
Mm.
That for me
Mhm.
personally, like, I
Yes.
can't say that I don't ever wanna work again because that's not true, and
Mhm.
that's just not gonna happen.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I don't think I want a job in the traditional sense
Mm.
ever again. If I do go into some kind of employment, it will definitely be on my terms, as in my
Right.
business is choosing to partner with another business, me as a
Oh, I
business.
love
I am
that.
the business. I
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
choosing to partner with this corporation on terms that we work out together, but not
Mm.
as in, okay, I see a job ad, I apply to it, and like I don't want to do that anymore.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, that's just the way that I see it. And I think that helps me rest because it's just like I'm not having to work as they say. I can work when I want, how I want, on my terms. And that helps me rest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For me, like, I keep renewing my teacher's license even though I know I don't wanna go back to that grind and that I don't. I wanna do what you're saying. I wanna teach on my terms. I wanna be an online educator and teach when I wanna teach. I don't wanna do carpool duty at 7 a.m. in the morning.
I'm I'm thinking since you already have
Mhm.
expertise in it,
Mhm.
especially as much disruption which is happening with AI in the education sector,
God, yeah.
you're prime. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
this is girl, shoot your
Mhm.
shot
I
because
know, I need
now
to.
is the time as the systems are rapidly changing. Rapidly.
Mhm.
I don't
Absolutely.
know.
I don't know. I
Girl.
feel like I use a job as a crutch sometimes, and,
Okay.
sometimes you do have to just do it afraid and,
Yeah.
just try to shoot for that goal and see what happens, and, I think that is my goal for 2026. See what I can do on the online educator
Yeah.
space and make it happen.
Yes.
'Cau I mean, if we taught through COVID, we can do anything.
Exactly. And you did that, right? You were teaching.
Yes. I was teaching remotely through COVID. I taught at an online school, currently, teaching at an online university. So, just as a counselor role, but I feel like education will always be a part of me. So, and I feel that about you too. You have the spirit of a teacher. So,
Well, thank
yeah.
you. I've never been a formal teacher in the public schools, not in the
Mhm.
US, only in Thailand. But
Mm.
um but thank you for saying
You
thank you
do.
for
You really
saying that.
do.
I hope to educate, in my stuff, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I feel like whether it's teaching us financial wisdom or, how to, trade within the stock market, whatever it'll be good. So I'm just waiting for it. So, my last question is, what is one piece of advice that you would have for a woman? Maybe she's middle aged, maybe she's going through a transition, she feels overworked, underappreciated, and tired.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to this woman?
I would say don't be ashamed to use whatever support you may have from your family or your friends.
Mm,
Um, we as women typically give, and don't expect anything in return. Um, when people are waiting and wanting to help you,
mm, mm,
and we don't receive it, and you're blocking yourself off from your blessing, pretty much.
absolutely.
I'm learning that. I'm continuing to learn that I don't necessarily have to earn my way to love, that people are
Mm,
willing to support me and love me and accept me and give me the space so that I can heal and grow. And don't be ashamed of that, especially at whatever stage you are in life, because everything is changing now. It's almost just like it's going to be a new beginning for many
mhm.
people. So you're not behind. We're switching paradigms. You're at the beginning.
Wow.
You're at the
Wow.
beginning. You're right at the forefront. So as the changes are shifting, just look for the changes. Look how you can learn more about tech. You don't have to go code, but
Mhm.
there are so many things changing that you're not behind.
Okay.
You're
That's
not,
so
you're
good
not.
to
It's
hear.
like I see some really good things happening. Yeah.
One wow, that is beautiful advice, and I feel like you were just speaking straight to me. I needed that.
I hope so. I try to remain as positive. I'm pretty positive as a person anyway. I look for
Mhm,
the silver or positive lining. Um,
mhm.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited about the future.
It's
I was a
exciting.
little concerned when I first got back here in 2023, but now I'm like,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, it's there's some good stuff happening, especially for women. If you
Mhm.
look for the opportunities, I'm going to talk about those opportunities and you take them. Jump on
Yes.
them.
Jump on them. Don't sit
Yes.
around and wait.
No.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, Jerusha, thank you so much for coming. Before I let you go, do you have any channels, social media that you'd like to talk about so that we can keep in contact with you and subscribe to you?
Well, I do have my YouTube channel, which is called Balance Muse. And I also have a website where I teach women, especially because not that the guys aren't wonderful, it's just I'm here for the ladies. Teach them how they can learn more about cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. And also, I'm very much an astrology enthusiast. We can look at your chart to see where your interests align with the new paradigm that we're having. So take a look
Mm.
at Balance View's website or my YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you. And I hope that we can do it again, maybe on your channel, maybe for on a different topic that's more, honed in on one topic. But this has been so refreshing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you so much once again for having me. I had a great time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Jerusha's channel, Balance Muse. You will not regret that you did. All right. Bye, everyone.